If you listened to the hair care episode and started looking at labels a little bit differently, then today builds on that. Many women are doing all the right things for their health, or at least they think they are, while unknowingly interfering with their hormones every morning and every night with the products that they're using on their skin. In this episode, we are talking about skincare and body products, the lotions, deodorants, and washes that most of us use without a second thought. I'm going to show you what actually matters on labels, how these ingredients affect women's bodies over time, and how to make wiser choices without trying to replace everything all at once. If you're working on your hormones, but your body still feels off, this episode may explain why. Skincare and body products are some of the most consistent endocrine disruptors that women are exposed to. They're absorbed daily, they're stored in the body, and they're rarely questioned. They just kind of go under the radar. We don't even think about them. So, today we're going to talk about what you need to avoid, what to choose instead, and how to reduce interference so that your body can actually heal. Let's go. Welcome to If Mama Ain't Healthy, Ain't Nobody Healthy. I'm your host, Lori Morris, a Christian midwife, mama of 3, and wellness coach who believes your body isn't broken, it's beautifully designed by God. Here we talk about how to restore your energy, balance your hormones, and find peace and true wellness in your body again, no matter what stage of motherhood you're in, whether you're pregnant, postpartum, in the messy middle of mom life, or you're trying to conceive. And we do it all through biblical truth and practical, holistic living. Because you're not meant to just survive motherhood, you're meant to thrive in it. Let's dive in. Have you taken a minute to leave me a quick 5-star written review yet over on Apple Podcasts, or have you gone over to YouTube and subscribed to my channel? I just went over 300 subscribers, and I know that's nothing compared to some of these huge stations or huge channels, but it's quite an honor to have that many of you follow me there. So if you haven't done that yet, if you could do one of those two things or maybe both of them, it helps me so much to reach other moms like you or other women like you who are looking for this kind of content when you do those things. Either leave reviews, leave comments on videos, or follow me on YouTube or subscribe on YouTube. All of those things help me and they don't cost you a thing. So if you don't mind, if you could go do that, I sure would appreciate it. And now let's get on with our content today, because I know that a lot of you learned some things last week about hair care. And so this week, in the next of this series, we're going to talk about skincare and the things that we're putting on our skin that could be making us sick. See, your skin is not really a barrier. I mean, it is on some counts, but it's actually more of a delivery system. There are pores in it, it absorbs things, it's the largest organ in your body. And so, what you put on your skin doesn't stop there, it soaks in and it gets into your body. And so, when you're using products that have things in them that are potentially harmful for you or to you, it's going to get into your systemic circulation. Products often, like skincare products, are often leave-on type products, or they're used daily, so you're getting lots of exposure. They're also often applied after you've taken a hot shower or a warm shower, and so that increases the absorption because your skin is warm and the pores are open more. On top of all that, we tend to apply these products to our armpits where there's direct access to lymph nodes, to our breast area, which is very full of ducts and fatty tissue that can absorb these chemicals and hang on to them, to our abdomen, to our inner thighs, to our neck, to our face, all over in these places where they can get into internal organs and internal tissues that don't need to have these chemicals in them. Most common offenders are things like lotion, body wash, sunscreen, makeup, skincare, and deodorant. Deodorant being one of the biggest offenders because, again, we're putting that in our armpits, which is right next to precious lymph tissue that can take any toxins that are going in there all over your body. If you have been curious about Verity Village when you've heard me talking about it here on the podcast and you've been wondering what's that all about, I have got some great news for you today, because now you can come try Verity Village for 2 days for just $2. It's like almost no commitment, right? Verity Village, Verity, by the way, means truth. Verity Village is a private community for Christian women just like you who want clarity, they want support, they want wisdom without the noise of social media or the pressure to already have it all figured out. come read the conversations, watch the replays, and just see if this is the kind of place that you've been looking for. Just go to https://www.morriswellnessservices.com/Verity Village. That's VERITY Village, or just go down to the show notes and click the link. So how do these skin and body products enter and disrupt the systems in your body? How do they get in, and how do they disrupt your endocrine system? Well, they get in again through transdermal absorption. That means through the skin, absorbing through the skin. They also then can get into lymph tissue in your armpits, in your breasts, which then can, as I just said, take it all over your body because you have lymph nodes all over. It also can get, once it's in your body, these products or these ingredients can be stored in your fat tissue because fat tissue really can hang on to these types of things for a long time. And then that can lead to the chemicals being recirculated through your liver detoxification pathways, clogging them up and causing them not to work properly because they're being overburdened by trying to clear out these things that your body does not recognize and knows needs to go. They can disrupt your estrogen metabolism, your progesterone signaling, thyroid hormone conversion, insulin sensitivity, and immune regulation. Your body is trying to read the signals you're giving it with these products, but these products just add static. They're just clogging things up. And so when you are using products day in, day out that are putting ingredients into your body and chemicals into your body that never were designed to be there, it causes your systems to get bogged down. So it cannot clear everything out because it's a constant low level exposure. And so with time, these things build up and can lead to some of the sickness that you're having without realizing that's where it's coming from. Kind of like the hair care products. They go under the radar because you really don't think about them as being something you're putting in your body. You think of foods and things like that as what you're putting in your body, but these products are also getting in. So let's go through some of the things to look for on labels. And you're going to hear some things that you heard last week because oftentimes it's many of the same products. So there will be some repetition here, but hopefully with that repetition, these things are going to stick in your mind a little bit better. So as you're reading labels in the stores, you're going to be able to make better choices. So the first one, just like the first one was in the hair care section, is fragrances and parfums or perfumes. Okay, these are found in lotions, body washes, moisturizers, face creams, pretty much everywhere because it makes them smell nice, right? But those nice smells are actually chemicals, and underneath that label of fragrance, they can put any chemicals that they want, and they don't have to further delineate them to you. They are not required to tell you what's in that industry term of fragrance. They're used again because the scent of them, it's appealing. People like it. People go to Bath and Body Works to look for things that smell nice. Meanwhile, they are putting a constant onslaught of an attack on their body and they don't realize it because it smells good. So who cares, right? Those smells are what's killing us slowly but surely. They're also used for brand recognition because each brand kind of has its own smell. And so people associate these nice smells with brands. But it's harmful because it contains phthalates. Remember we talked about those last week? The chemicals that are in these fragrances mimic estrogen, meaning they act like estrogen in the body and they can bind to estrogen receptors in the body, causing estrogen itself not to be able to do what it needs to do. They're linked to cycle irregularity, headaches, and fertility issues. So if it smells like something, if you smell something when you use these products, but it doesn't tell you why or where that's coming from, that's a clue that this is a product to be suspicious of. And what I mean by telling you where it comes from, if you don't see something like a specific essential oil mentioned, then you can be suspect that this product has chemicals in there to make it smell a certain way, but those chemicals could be anything under the sun and they don't have to tell you. The next thing to watch for is parabens. Again, methylparaben, ethylparaben, propylparaben, butylparaben. Those are mouthfuls, I know. They're used as preservatives. They give these products longer shelf life. It keeps them from going bad, which doesn't sound like a bad thing, right? Well, it's good for the products not to go bad, but these items, these ingredients also mimic estrogen, as I mentioned before. They accumulate in breast tissue. They're associated with hormone-driven cancers. So while they are preserving the product, they're causing you these problems inside of your body that could lead to cancer. Not worth it. They preserve the product, but they confuse your endocrine system. So look for products that do not have these parabens. There are other ways to preserve these products without having those types of chemicals in there. Again, phthalates, now we'll list it out separately on its own. Again, it's often hidden inside a fragrance. So you may not see the word phthalate on there, and it's a mouthful, but it's PHTHALATES. You may not see that exact word, but that's one of the things that's often hidden under that fragrance title. They are harmful because they lower progesterone, they disrupt ovulation, they can alter fetal hormone development. So we are causing problems if we're in women who are pregnant, can even be causing problems for their babies who aren't even born yet by using these products. It's a really big deal. Or when we're disrupting ovulation, we're impacting our fertility. Again, you may not see this listed, so you have to be aware that just because you don't see these exact terms listed, that doesn't mean they aren't still there. Sometimes they are under that nice little title that these industry secrets, I think is what they call it. It's where they get to put in there whatever they want to without telling you exactly what it is to protect their recipe, for lack of a better term. All right, another thing to be watching for, another big offender is triclosan. We mentioned that last week as well. It's found in antibacterial soaps and deodorants. It's harmful because it, like many of the other things, is thyroid disrupting. It alters this gut and skin microbiome. That is the good bacteria that live in your gut and your skin, because triclosan has antimicrobial properties that can attack the good microbes as well. It's also causes endocrine and immune interference. Your skin does not need to be sterile to be healthy. We have been told through marketing and just through, messaging about bacteria and things like this that we need to kill the bacteria, kill all of the bacteria. But in so doing, we have killed good bacteria that are there to protect us and to keep our bodies and our skin and our systems balanced and working properly. And so when we've killed all these good things, we've caused the bad to take over. So when you get this idea in your head that, oh, I need to sterilize, no, you don't. You just need to use plain soap. And we're going to talk about some alternatives here in a little bit. Another thing to watch for is aluminum compounds, especially in antiperspirants. Aluminum compounds block sweat glands. And I know you have gotten the idea that it's good to not sweat under your arms. However, God made us to sweat. Sweating is a detox pathway. It's one of the ways that your body gets the toxins out. And so when you are blocking the sweat, especially in your armpits, again, where that lymph tissue is, you are causing aluminum to accumulate from these antiperspirants. It's accumulating in that tissue, and it is keeping other toxins from being able to get out because you're blocking the sweat mechanism. You're also interfering with estrogen metabolism. Here's something that you need to be aware of if you haven't already been aware of it. Your armpit tissue is actually an extension of your breast tissue. And one of the most common places to find breast cancer is in this area here. If you're looking on YouTube, it's up going towards your armpit and into that armpit tissue. Wonder why? We are putting toxic chemicals with aluminum in them on our armpits every single day, sometimes multiple times per day, because they've told us that we shouldn't sweat and that we shouldn't stink. And yeah, nobody wants to stink. I get that. But whether you realize it or not, often those bad body smells are actually arising out of some of the other underlying issues that we are having in our bodies through an unhealthy lifestyle. These things actually can be dealt with by cleaning up our lifestyle and our diet and what we've got going on inside of our bodies. And there are people who don't wear deodorant and they don't stink, believe it or not. It's actually a thing. You can actually work towards that. You can also Use deodorants that don't have these aluminum compounds in them. Will you sweat? Yes. Will you stink? No. But you've got to understand that stopping sweat does not stop toxicity, it just redirects it. And so when we are blocking these functions that God put there for a reason, we have to expect that there's going to be some downstream consequences and we're not going to like them. Things like potentially breast cancer, things like having this aluminum in our system, estrogen metabolism issues, so many things that we would not be dealing with if we were not blocking this natural function that God put there for a reason. All right, another one to think about, chemical sunscreens. I hope that by now that you've heard some of the talk out there about the harmfulness of sunscreens. They are full of chemicals. I mean, if you look at these labels, the print is tiny, the list is long of how many chemicals are in them. Some to take note of, but honestly, I don't even know why I'm going to list these because there's really none of them are any good. But oxybenzone, avobenzone, and octinoxate, excuse me, it's really hard to pronounce that. They are harmful because just like these other things are absorbed into the bloodstream, they have estrogenic activity, meaning they're causing your body to create more estrogen than it needs, and they cause thyroid interference. But there's more. Chemical sunscreens are causing your body to not get the vitamin D that God designed your body to get through your skin. Your skin creates vitamin D when it is exposed to UV light from the sun. This obsession that our world has put into our heads about blocking the sun as if it is bad is probably actually more of a cause of skin cancer than the sun itself. That's a whole episode all by itself. In fact, I need to do one on that, on the impact of our diets, on how much we're burning and the way that we're living and how that's causing our skin to burn and whether that's predisposing us to cancer. But these sunscreens that we're using are more likely causing the skin cancer epidemic than the sun itself because of the extreme amount of toxic chemicals that we're putting directly on our skin, while at the same time blocking the UV light that we need to be able to make the vitamin D that we need for our immune systems to work properly so that we can fight off any cancer that may come. There are so many layers of this. If you haven't ever heard that before, go do some research on it. It is dark. It's a dark industry, and which is ironic considering we're talking about the sun. But just understand that in general, nearly every sunscreen that is out there is causing more damage than it's preventing. Another thing to be watching for: preservatives that release formaldehyde. I believe this one was also mentioned in the hair care episode. Things like DMDM hydantoin and quaternium. I think I stumbled over this in that episode too. Quaternium 15. They're harmful because they release formaldehyde slowly over time through your skin. They cause skin irritation and immune stress and endocrine disruption over time. Yet another one to avoid. Another ingredient to look for is PEGs, polyethylene glycols, and ethoxylated ingredients. Things like polysorbates, you'll see them on the label as PEG, PEG, often with a number right after it, or polysorbates. They are synthetic, petroleum-derived compounds. They make the texture of these products nicer and smoother. They enhance absorption. They can help the ingredients mix better with water, and they can improve how well you're able to spread the product. However, they also increase the penetration of other chemicals by increasing skin permeability, meaning it makes the skin more open to allow more of the product to get in so that it helps the chemicals get deeper into the body. These PEGs or polyethylene glycols can be contaminated with carcinogens. Those are items they are carcinogens are chemicals or things that cause cancer. Things like ethylene oxide and 1,4-dioxane. They are commonly found in lotions, cleansers, shaving cream, sunscreen, makeup, baby products, pretty much everywhere. Some ingredients that we've talked about directly impact hormones. This one doesn't necessarily directly impact the hormones, but it helps the others to do it. So yet another one to avoid. That was a long list. There are others. This is just some to skim the surface. Suffice it to say, just like with the hair care episode, if you can't pronounce it, if you don't know what it is, it's really better to stay away from it. Again, some of the biggest offenders, and this is really going to honestly pretty much cover everything. The high-risk products to look out for: body lotions, anti-aging creams, eye creams, deodorants, antiperspirants, body washes, shaving cream, hand cream, stretch mark cream, acne treatments. Okay. The more you apply it, the more often you use it, the more it matters. But all of these things matter. And who needs to pay extra attention to this? Who does this apply to even more? Women who are suffering from PMS, women who have painful or heavy periods, women who have endometriosis, women who have fibroids, women who have PCOS, women who have thyroid issues, women who have acne that doesn't resolve with regular basic treatments, although some of those are just as toxic as these things, women who are pregnant, women who are postpartum and breastfeeding, teens and young girls. So essentially everyone. And if you are not pregnant, but you are of childbearing age, you need to pay just as much attention as everybody else, because you don't know you're pregnant when you first are pregnant. And you don't want these things in your body. You don't want them in your body anyway to hurt you, but you especially don't want them in there to hurt your baby. So how do you find safe alternatives? Well, first of all, let's talk about how you're going to prioritize making these changes. The first thing you're going to want to prioritize is things that are leave-on products, things that you're not washing off. The second thing is armpit products, because again, those are some of the biggest offenders and they're going directly to your lymph system. Third, face and neck products. And fourth, daily use items. Now, it doesn't have to be that exact order. You can change the order to whatever works best for you, but these are some ideas for how to prioritize. What you want to look for as you're making the changes. You're going to want to look for fragrance-free items, or items that tell you very specifically where the fragrance is coming from, even more specifically, what essential oil. So you know for sure that the smell that's in the product is not coming from, quote, fragrance, but from some plant or some flower or something that they are identifying for you. You want to look for a short ingredient list with ingredients that you recognize that don't sound like a chemical science project. You want to see transparent sourcing, meaning they are telling you where they are getting their ingredients from. When you're using sunscreen, if you're using sunscreen, again, I guess I need to make a note to have a sunscreen episode, but if you're using sunscreen, look for one that has as short a list as possible with zinc oxide. That's one of the ingredients, that is one of the safer options. And look for products that are designed for sensitive skin, not necessarily because you have sensitive skin, but because those products tend to have fewer of these offenders in them. You can find these kind of things in places like health food stores. In these days, lots of mom and pop shops, like families, are making these products because they have taken an interest in providing a better product on the market. And so sometimes you can find it from small batch retailers and makers like that. Clean beauty retailers, brands that explain ingredients in plain language in those types of resources. There are lots of things online now that you can find that you can use. And I thought I made a note of it, but I can't find them. Oh, yes, there it is. Places like EWG, the Environmental Working Group. So you can go to ewg.org/skin deep. It's a fairly good resource. You can find the ingredients for lots of products on there, but be aware that there is talk that having the EWG certified seal on the products has actually been bought. So that meaning that a brand can come in and say, we'll pay you, or they'll say, pay us this much money and we'll give you our seal. Don't necessarily go by the seal, go by the ratings. So you go in there and you see, whether they're a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or whatever, and they will give you what ingredients that cause them to give those ratings. It's a fairly good resource. There's also other apps like Think Dirty and Yuka and different things like that you can find out there that will help you some of them you can even scan the barcode on a product and it'll tell you what kind of a quality it is, how dangerous it is, and that kind of thing. Okay. After the hair care episode, I got several requests for what I use. So I thought for this episode, I would tell you the products that I like, and I will link them all below. And I'm probably going to make a website page for this so that it'll be easy for you to find as well. So be looking if you're wanting that type of a thing, look down in the show notes. I'm also going to have a free downloadable list for you that you could like fold up and put in your wallet to have with you at the grocery store. Look for a link for that down in the description as well, where you can go just get the free download and print it out. Okay. So what do I like for lotion? I use the Everyone brand. And by the way, the things that I'm going to list off are by and large not perfect, but they are better than most. And I have gone to some length to try to find things that I believe are as safe as possible given what's available. So while you may go look at one of these and you might be like, oh, but that's got this or that in it. I guarantee you it's got less than most. And sometimes, like especially for lotion, it's really hard to find lotions because of the way that lotion is made. And so it's the best I could do. And I've been fairly happy with the results. Also, I don't use lotion very much. That's a whole different thing, a whole different topic. But when you put things like lotion on your skin every day, you cause your skin to stop making as much of its own moisture because it becomes reliant on the moisture you're giving it. It perceives that it doesn't need to make as much. And then if you don't use it, then you get dry and, ashy, crusty skin. I almost never use lotion. I have it on my countertop. I use it maybe once or twice a week, a little bit. That's it. But with that being said, the brand that I use is Everyone, and you can get that one on Amazon. I'll link it below. I'm thinking right now at home I have like the citrus something smell. They also have a really nice lavender one that's from Essential Oils. So it's a pretty good option. My kids have used their body wash before and even used their body wash can be used as a shampoo as well. So that is an option and I will link it below. For makeup, I use With Simplicity. I'll put a link for that as well. And if you'll use my link for this, you'll actually get $10 off of your order. With Simplicity, they will go through and they tell you all of the ingredients and things like that so you can know exactly what's in it. I've used that for probably a year now, and I've been pretty happy with it. Before, I was using Young Living's makeup line, but then they seem to have cut it. So I switched to With Simplicity, and I have been pleased with it. It does a really good job. For skincare, for washing your face, I actually recommend that you don't use soaps and things like that on your face. Maybe occasionally in the shower, and I'll talk about what I use for body wash in a minute. But I actually use Norwex cloths, their makeup cloth, and it cleans my face as well or better than anything with soap ever did. And it doesn't strip the oils. Again, when you are like with the hair care episode, when you are stripping the oils from your skin all the time, it is causing your body to have to overproduce to make up for what it's losing. And that can actually lead to some of the skin problems that you think you're preventing when you're washing your face. So I just use warm water and a Norwex cloth to wash my face. Occasionally, again, in the shower, I will use the body wash that I'll tell you about in a minute. But that's it. And then for my moisturizer, I use castor oil in a little 30, I think it's 30 milliliter roll-on bottle. And I put just a little bit of vitamin E in there. And I put a little bit of essential oils in there for skin. And that's it. And I put that on sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night, sometimes not at all. Because my skin is so balanced now that I have been paying attention to my diet and that I have stopped stripping the oils out of it all the time, that I really don't have to do much for my skin at all anymore. For sunscreen, we almost never use it. In fact, I think the only time that we ever use sunscreen is the 1 week a year we go to the beach because we're out for so many hours and there's no shade. But the brand that we use now is Badger. We've been very happy with it. I will say that one of my kids, I can't remember which one it is. That's how long ago it's been. But we were using, what's the brand with the green label that most people think is pretty clean? I can't even think of it right now. Maybe I shouldn't name it anyway, but you probably know what I'm talking about. It's a brand that's recognized as being a fairly sensitive skin type of a brand, fairly good brand, and we used it, and it caused my daughter to, I think it was Ruby, my daughter, to break out and have a pretty strong reaction to it. So you got to be careful. Even it had some ingredients hiding in it. But Badger so far we've been happy with it. We only use a very little bit. Like I said, honestly, because of our clean diet, we don't use any of the inflammatory oils and things like that are known to cause things like sunburns to be worse. They're out during the summer, usually a couple hours a day at our pool, and never any sunscreen and never any burns. It's really cool when you get to the point where your body is functioning the way it's supposed to. God gave us the sun for a reason. We need that vitamin D, and when you block it, it leads to other problems, kind of like with the antiperspirants. When you're blocking a function that God put there for a reason, you're going to have downstream effects. So we almost never use sunscreen, but when we do, we use Badger. I'll link it as well. For deodorant, I actually make my own. For my kids, I do buy them deodorant brands, and I will try to remember. I think all three of them right now are using three different brands, but they're all relatively clean. They just didn't like the deodorant that I make. I make it and I put it in a jar and I put it on with my fingers. They don't like that for some reason. I don't know why it matters, but they don't like the feeling of it on their fingers. And so I got them a type in stick form. I believe Ruby, I believe, is using Tom's brand. I believe Abby's using Hello brand, and Abby just now started to even have like the little girl smell. You know what I mean? They're just now getting into the age that it even matters, but they're self-conscious. And so we've used something. But for me, I make my own. I can't remember the exact recipe, and I didn't write it down in my notes, so I'll have to put it down in the show notes. But I know it's coconut oil, and I use organic coconut oil, um, extra virgin, like full complement coconut oil, arrowroot powder, I believe, and maybe baking soda, but I'm very careful about what baking soda I buy. I'll put it down in the show notes. I'm sorry that I don't have it better for you in my head. And then for body wash, I make my own body wash now. I didn't used to do that, but I came across African black soap not too long ago, maybe a couple years ago, and I bought some. And the funniest thing is, it is, if you're watching on YouTube, I mean, it is a huge block of soap. I've had it for a couple of years, and all I do is kind of grate some of it off, put it in water on the warmer on my stove, and let it melt and mix together. And then I pour that into a pump bottle. And then sometimes I'll add some essential oils to it to give it a little smell. Sometimes I won't. But that has lasted me. I mean, I really don't know if I'm ever going to have to buy soap for my whole life. I mean, a little bit of it goes so far. And so that's what I use for my body wash now. It's completely natural. There's no chemicals in it or anything at all. So that's what I use. And again, I'll link those below so you can find those, and I'll try to make a web page where they'll be easy to go click and you can find them and all that good stuff. Okay. Some common pushback. I know a lot of people don't really want to make these changes. Some people will say that their skin reacts when they change products or their clean products. And you got to understand there is a transition time. There's a transition period where your body's got to kind of get used to things sometimes. But as you move further and further away from an inflammatory lifestyle, your body will react less and less because it's not in this constant state of overreaction. In addition, your skin takes time to repair from the damage that's been done by these chemicals. So your old products may have been masking inflammation, and when you quit using them, that inflammation may come up. But with time, as your skin calms down and gets to recalibrate itself to work the way that God made for it to work, it will become less of a problem, shall we say. I wouldn't even say it's a problem. The more you make these changes, the cleaner you get your body, the less any of this is going to be an issue. It also can feel overwhelming. And I'll just remind you that you didn't get here overnight, and you don't have to leave overnight either. Okay. You can do one thing at a time. You can pick one product at a time, or maybe just use things until they run out and then make the switch. Do it in a way that is manageable, but do something. Pick something, make the change. So removing endocrine disruptors, it does reduce the burden on your body, but it doesn't automatically restore all the functions that are being impacted. There is some time and some cleaning and some work that are going to need to happen. And that deeper work needs to be done so that you can find what impacts have been made on your body over time. So you can know what you need to work on to get back to living the way that God designed you to live in line with His good design, and you can get back to feeling good again. The impacts that can be in your body are tied into things like liver detoxing and your body's ability to get these things out of your system, thyroid support, blood sugar balance, nervous system safety, personalized testing to where you can know what actually happened in your body. When you remove the interferences, you got to teach your body how to heal. You got to work with your body to help it heal. And that's what I do. I work with women one-on-one to go through these healing processes in a way that is manageable and that is actionable and that is real and that works. One-on-one coaching is where I put most of my work. I pour my heart and soul into my one-on-one clients. When you're one of my one-on-one clients, we look at your specific labs in detail and we formulate a roadmap to work on getting your body back in line with God's design. We find the places where we need to remove things. We come up with ways to replace them. We find what damage has been done and we make a plan to correct it. We meet every 2 weeks for an hour to implement the roadmap that we come up with, and we work through how that looks for your life in real time, working through any speed bumps you may come up on, any issues that you may have. We touch base between the meetings as well, anytime that it's needed. That level of accountability is what really gets the job done. Trying to do it on your own is oftentimes just too much. Life is busy. There's so much going on. It's really hard to know what to do when you don't have someone walking that road with you who understands this whole landscape. My one-on-one clients have life-changing results, and it is truly a joy to watch them grow. I would love for you to be the next one who finds that kind of change. I want you to be one of the ones whose friends are seeing such a dramatic change that they're asking you, "What are you doing? You are absolutely glowing. What is different? What have you changed?" So if you're ready for that kind of change, you can apply to work with me at morriswellnessservices.com/application. I've got a few spots left on my roster to get started this month, but I don't take that many clients because I want to be able to make sure that I'm giving you the absolute top-notch service. So go ahead and fill out that application now so that we can get you in and get you started soon. I also have an exclusive private community called Verity Village. Verity Village is a place for Christian women to come together to learn and grow in their physical and spiritual health away from the noise and distraction of social media. That word verity, it means truth. And this is a place that you can come to find truth and to find support and to find the information that you need as you are learning how to get back in line with God's design for your body. It's a place to ask questions about things like products, about things that are going on in your health, about things that are going on in your world. It's a place to learn without fear or without worrying about anybody being ugly to you or making troll-like comments or pressuring you. In this group, you get discernment. You don't get extremes. We're not all about just chasing the new fads. We are working through things that actually work. It's also a place with an ever-growing, huge library of information and resources that you can use to inform your health decisions in a way that is not intimidating or threatening. We have 3 or 4 monthly live calls as well. We do everything from group coaching together, monthly challenges, live question and answer sessions, and vaccine chats even. It's an active place that some have even said that it's where they go first now instead of social media. So I would love for you to come be a part of that. If you're interested in learning more, go to morriswellnessservices.com/Verity Village to learn more or to get signed up. Now, I've gone over a lot of things in this episode. If you're still with me, just remember that I've got links for you in the show notes where you'll be able to find the information I've talked about so you don't have to remember it all. Just get started somewhere. I will see you right back here next week. If you were blessed in any way by today's episode, please take a minute to share it with a friend you know needs this info, Or just post a screenshot on your Instagram stories and tag me so that I'll know you love this episode. Then come join us in Verity Village, my exclusive community built just for Christian women like you who want to learn to be well and live in alignment with God's design for their bodies. I'm in there every day chatting with the members and sharing information about a broad spectrum of topics like natural health, vaccines, nutrition, and the Bible. So you'll have a trustworthy, faith-based source away from noise and distraction for growing in your health and faith this year, along with a community of like-minded women. Also, I'd love it if you would head over to YouTube and subscribe to my channel. You can find links for all these things in the show notes. I am so very thankful for you, and I look forward to hanging out again with you right here next week.